Breaking news here at 6 o'clock. We are continuing to cover that emergency crews are calling it dangerous chemical leak there for people in the Whitewater and Cleves area, 20 minutes west of downtown Cincinnati. Residents being told to evacuate within the half-mile radius of this leak. Thank you so much for spending time with us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Craig McKee.
I'm Tanya O'Rourke.
Yeah. WCPO 9 News reporter Marlena Lang is out close to the area there, and she's in the safe zone, obviously, in the evacuation area there.
So Marlena, this started with a rail car. What are authorities now saying hours into this emergency situation?
Yes, Tanya and Craig. Well, I'm here at the Whitewater Community Center where officials just held a second press conference that we heard earlier that have more details about the leak that is still ongoing. Now, officials say that those in a 2-mile radius of the leak do need to shelter in place, and that means keeping their windows and their doors closed. They also continue to emphasize that everyone in a half-mile radius of the leak needs to evacuate as there is a possibility of an explosion.
The rail car itself is currently being cooled down. We did clarify the evacuation for a half mile. There is concerns that with the heat up of the material in the car, that there is a potential for an explosion.
Officials added that they will send an alert when people in that half-mile radius can return home and that those in the 2-mile radius can leave their home. They ask you to not call emergency services unless you are experiencing an emergency. And again, if you are in that half-mile radius of the leak, officials really encourage you and say that you need to evacuate because of that possible explosion. Here at the Whitewater Community Center and Miami Township Hall are both shelters. Now back to you.
All right, thanks so much. Let's give you a little more information on that chemical styrene. We just spoke with an expert at UC. He told us styrene gas is common in the industrial process. It's used to make lots of different things, including plastics, but it's toxic in high concentrations, like what we are seeing in and around that train derailment. And that's why it's so important to take the evacuation warnings seriously.
If it's in air, it's toxic. It's most likely a neurological toxic agent, so it makes damage to nervous system, to your brain, similar to alcohol. And it's also irritants, so it means that it can cause symptoms like allergy, irritants to eyes and nose and those things.
That is Dr. Wang. He's from UC, of course. He also said it can last in the air for a few hours to a few days. That depends on the weather. Hamilton County emergency management officials did tell us, and it's worth repeating, it could be some time before folks are allowed back into that area from the evacuation zone.
Now, this isn't the first time styrene has had a major impact on the tri-state. Back in 2005, a similar situation happened when a rail car near Lunken Airport released styrene into the air. Cincinnati Fire Department issued a 1-mile radius and evacuation then and remained in place for several days, in fact. Now, we are continuing to monitor this situation, obviously, very closely. We'll bring you more updates on air and online at WCPO.com.